Joan's fingers tightened around the newspaper, her knuckles turning white as she forced herself to remain calm. The rhythmic clatter of wheels against tracks suddenly felt ominous rather than soothing. The man's blue eyes hadn't left her face since he'd entered the compartment. "Lovely evening for a train ride," he said, his voice surprisingly soft. Joan managed a weak smile, her mind racing through the details she'd read about the attacks. Each had occurred just before the victims' destinations, when the carriages were at their emptiest. The compartment lights flickered, casting strange shadows across the man's angular face. Joan glanced at her watch. 15 minutes until her stop. Outside, darkness pressed against the windows like black ink, transforming them into mirrors that reflected the cramped space and its two occupants. "You shouldn't be traveling alone," the man continued, leaning forward slightly, "not with what's been happening on this line." He gestured toward the newspaper in her hands. Joan's heart hammered against her ribs. She noticed his hands, clean, well manicured, with a small scar across the right knuckles. The articles hadn't mentioned that detail. "My friends are meeting me," she said, proud that her voice didn't waver. "They're expecting me." He smiled, revealing perfectly straight teeth. "Are they? That's good. Very sensible." The train began to slow, approaching a small station that wasn't hers. Joan watched as the man reached into his jacket pocket. Her muscles tensed, ready to scream, run, fight. He pulled out a police badge. "Detective Inspector Matthews," he said quietly. "We've been riding these trains for weeks, trying to catch him. There's another officer in the next compartment." Joan exhaled slowly, relief flooding through her. Then she noticed something that made her blood freeze. The badge in his hand, it was poorly printed on paper. It was a fake. The train whistle blew, and Joan realized with horror that they were the only two people left in this carriage. Her real rescuers were probably in another section of the train, and her stop was still 10 minutes away. She reached for her handbag, trying to appear casual. Inside was a small can of pepper spray her father had insisted she carry. The man watched her every move, his gentle smile never wavering. The train plunged into a tunnel, and Joan made her choice.